Good evening, sports fans. Coming to you live tonight from the historic Hornfield, it's Todd Edwards along with my broadcast partner, Dude Jones, on an absolutely splendid night to be outdoors. How about a game time temperature 74 degrees as we have below us the Susquehannock Warriors warming up along with the Lions of Red Lion. A big YIAA boys lacrosse matchup, our second of three matchups that we're going to have. Next week, we'll travel back to York Catholic for a girls game. But tonight, it's all about the boys. And, dude, this Susquehannock Warrior team comes in here with an impressive record of 5-0, and really the team to beat in YIAA this year, the Susquehannock Warriors.
Yeah, Susquehanna is coming off that great performance they had last year, that great campaign they had last year where they went to the county championship, end up winning the districts and also going to states, and they come back with a lot of starters for Susky, and it's going to be a very tough challenge for Redline, to come out with a victory against a team like the Susquehannock lacrosse team. They're rolling on all fours right now, and it should be a really good game here tonight. And as you said, the weather's perfect. This is lacrosse weather, man.
The only thing I forgot was our tanning lotion.
There it is.
The sun's setting to the west of us here at Hornfield. A magnificent night for lacrosse. We mentioned Susquehannock returned 6 of its 10 YIAA All-Stars to help the Warriors defend their Division III Class 2A title. Of course, let's start off with Brad Bennett for Susquehannock, a senior, Tristan Coleman, Dominic Eccles, TJ McKee, Doug Reinecke, and Brad Simons, all All-Stars for the Susquehannock Warriors tonight. Should be a big matchup. Interesting to see what Redline brings to the table. I had a chance to speak to the athletic director, Kyle Masser, pre-game. He gave me a list of their stars, and not only that, but guys that are going to be going to the next level to play lacrosse too. I mean, Luke Miller attending Hood College down in Frederick County, Maryland. Paul Hornberger, Penn Tech. Connor Strebig will be attending Messiah. Miles Snyder, Lebanon Valley. We have also Ian Stamball attending Penn Tech. Jack Gawley, one of the midfield all-stars for the Lions, will be attending York College of Pennsylvania. And Landon Crayley, Washington College. So you have a bevy of talent there that will be going to the next level. But tonight it's all about high school lacrosse, YIAA style. And we are just moments away, really, from player introductions and, of course, the playing of our national anthem, and looking forward to another big matchup tonight from Hornfield.
Yeah, here at Hornfield, it has this college-style type of atmosphere at Hornfield. Big-time stadium, big bleachers. We're up high in the sky, beautiful field. You can see the outline of, Redline, the city of Redline as well. The borough of Redline, as you would say. Yeah, so it's a great atmosphere. This is a perfect school to have a game like this. And I know a lot of fans and a lot of student athletes that play here again on the football field or even in lacrosse love this field, and what it brings. And, just the atmosphere is unbelievable.
Well, not only that, but you look below us here, it's a dual-purpose stadium. You don't see that too often anymore.
Right,
I mean, you think about the baseball field looks in magnificent condition, and they play baseball here in addition to, as you mentioned, do lacrosse and, of course, football. And we hope to be back here in the fall for a football game. We mentioned last week when we were at York Catholic, during our 7-year run with Sports Shooting Stars, we have not broadcasted a football game here from Hornfield. And
we have not.
We talked to the AD, Kyle Masser, pregame, and hoping to get back in here for a football game.
And that's probably one of the very few stadiums where we did not film at, but we should be here this year.
Starting midfield for the Warriors, number 19, Doug Reinecke.
As you can see, Susky is being introduced now.
And number 9, Brad Bennett. Starting defense, number 22, Bam Smith. Number 24, TJ McKee. And number 35, Bradley Simons. And in goal for the Warriors, number 39, Nick Blucher.
And there's Blucher. He's going to have a big game tonight to keep the Redline from getting any goals.
And Kevin Clapp. And now, get ready to roar for your Lions. Starting on attack, number 1, Luke Miller.
See Redline being introduced.
Miles Snyder. And number 22, Jack Gully. Starting midfield for the Lions, number 10, Paul Hornberger. Number 20, Ian Stamball. And number 42, Brandon Bowman. Starting defense for the Lions, number 14, Connor Schrebig. Number 3, Tyler Doyle. And number 7, Ty Heilman. In goal for the Lions, number 11, Ethan Birkendine. The Lions are led by head coach Brooks Arnold, assisted by Logan Arnold, Greg Gully, Josh Krigo, and Jason Craley. Our officials tonight, our law and order, Mr. Richard Lake and Mr. Tony Callaman. Please give them the courtesy and respect they deserve. And now, ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise and remove your hats as we honor our great nation and the many men and women that bravely defend our freedom with the playing of our national anthem.
Playing of our national anthem here at Horn Field, and we are moments away from face-off here between Red Lion, which will be wearing their white jerseys with yellow numbers, versus Susquehannock in their black jerseys with red numbers. We will be joined later in the broadcast by John Turpak, who is en route here to Horn Field. He'll be joining the broadcast booth.
John's a very busy guy, has a lot of things going on with S3 performance training and all the things and all the extracurriculars that he's into. So big shout out to John Turpak. Appreciate him spending some time and coming out to help us out with these games and also give a lot of the fans some knowledge of the game of lacrosse, which, you know, some people may not be familiar with.
And we're underway here. The opening quarter, 12-minute quarters. And you can see the defensive players now for Susky have the ball, bringing it upfield. You'll notice the defensive players, they'll have the longer sticks, too. As Susky now sets up their offense. Upfield, moving right to left on your TV screen.
Very hard to see that ball from the area that we're at.
Yeah,
you have to know the game. Absolutely. And there's a shot.
And a shot. Score.
Quick score. And there's a yellow flag on the play as well.
There's a flag. Goal by Tristan Coleman. His for the attacker for Susky. And just like that, with not even a minute elapsed here in the opening quarter, Susquehannock with the 1-0 edge here.
Well, Susky is as good as advertised, as we know, coming into this season. District champions. And also undefeated so far early in
5-0. And they played some tough teams early on, non-conference. So, Susquehannock going to be a team to keep an eye on here. And, of course, in the YAIAA, there's just one division. We spoke about that last week. So you have Eastern in the mix in the one division, York Catholic, Red Lion, and Susquehannock. And the face-off, Red Lion now offensively brings the ball up.
And Red Lion's looking to return that favor and look for a score.
We mentioned last week both teams on the same sideline, and a lot of the substitutions come in and out through the 50-yard line, what would be the 50-yard line of a football field. 110-yard length in field for lacrosse. Bounce pass. in the goal unsuccessfully.
That's good defense from Susky.
And we're going to have to make mention, with the weather conditions tonight, the players are going to have to stay hydrated, maybe even eat a banana or two pre-game just so they're not cramping up. The spring season can kind of come, it was like a roller coaster ride sometimes with
absolutely.
the weather.
There's a little contact going on there between both players.
Red Lion loses possession as the ball rolls out of bounds. It will be Susquehannock's. Welcome to the broadcast booth. John Turpak doing his mile run up the steps here. Good night for a workout outside. How about it, John?
Indeed.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Stu. Indeed. That was quite a workout. Thankfully, you're not at the top of the steps.
We only went halfway up, John.
God bless.
We're looking out for your interest here tonight. And we're just underway. Susky with the 1-0 edge right now. A goal scored by Tristan Coleman. Red Lion looking to get on the board.
That was a good take. Hey, guys, thanks again for having me. I look forward to doing this second lacrosse game with you guys. This should be a really exciting matchup like last week as well.
And, John, are you familiar with both teams here, Red Lion and Susquehannock, in terms of some of the players that are in each team?
Intimately familiar with the coaching staffs and the players, yes. Susquehannock, last year's district champs in 2A, I believe. They've got a lot of great players. Tristan Coleman, who scored that first goal as I was walking in. Dominic Eccles, a couple of other good guys. And Red Lion have 6 guys that have committed to play college lacrosse, I believe at the D2 and D3 level. So, again, this should be a great competition for them. And 2 great coaching staffs as well, Todd.
Yeah, we heard a first-year coach for Red Lion, Brooks Arnold.
Yeah, Brooks served as the assistant for the last several years. I know him from, he played and coached with a lacrosse club that I used to run called Chaos. Great kid, played goalie at Messiah College. He's taking over the helm for Pat Stafford, who spent a lot of years here building a great program. And, I expect to see good coaching from Brooks. And then, of course, Susquehannock's staff is loaded with great coaches as well.
Yeah, we mentioned it earlier. Their head coach, Tom Main. I'm sure you're familiar with Tom as well.
Yeah, Tom was the Central York coach for a while, I think up until my son hit about 9th grade. I believe he won a county championship there with Central York and then handed the reins off to the current coach, Ryan Muller. Great guy, former Navy guy, current pilot. And then on his staff is Chris Markey and Mason Markey. I believe Mason is his defensive coordinator. He also played lacrosse at DeSales. They've got a great thing going on down there, Todd.
Yeah, well, just based on the roster, a lot of participation from the student athletes there. And, of course, a lot of success. That'll bring a lot of students out as well.
Absolutely. All right, he's got him caught behind the cage here, so he's just going to sit there. There's no shot clock. Look for the open guy, step down shot. Yeah, Dew was asking about the guy standing at X or the area behind the goalie, and because there's no shot clock in high school ball, yeah, he's got all the time in the world. Some defenses will press out and they'll make him move, but in this case they seem content.
Scores.
And then I was about to say, and then that can happen, and he took advantage of that.
Just like that.
Absolutely. I will point out that shot, and this probably goes back to coaching, the players have probably been told that coming around this side, you'll notice the sun is in the goalie's face. So there's a lot of advantages for him to come over. And as I mentioned earlier, Eccles just scored that goal. He's one of their top players.
We mentioned it early in the pregame. They're returning 6 of 10 All-Stars, Susquehannock, here this year. So and they're off to a hot start at 5-0.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously their goal is to win a county championship, which I don't believe that they've done, including last year. I believe Central won. But then, of course, after that, if they take care of business here, they're going to want to go ahead and defend that district championship. So got an early timeout.
With 7:25 to go in the opening quarter, it's Susquehannock 2, Red Lion 0. Thank you for tuning in tonight to Sports Shooting Stars. John Turpak, Dew Jones, yours truly here from Hornfield. I want to remind you, we'll be back on the air next week as we'll make our way back to York Catholic for a little girls lacrosse as Southwestern invades York Catholic. That'll be our third straight lacrosse matchup. And, John, we're rolling.
You guys are lacrosse groupies. I like this. I like this.
Oh,
Good. We talked about this last game. You guys have been great supporters and fans of football and basketball, and there's a lot of similarities in this sport to basketball. We talked about the give and go, the pick and roll, just the space and pace in general, and then also, very similar to soccer and other field types of sports like that. And then we talked a little about the aggressiveness of football. And you'll find that both these teams probably have a fair amount of players who play both football and lacrosse, and you'll see that physicality on the field today, especially in a heated contest like this.
Yeah, with Central with football, and then, of course, Susquehannock with lacrosse here, John.
Yeah, you're correct. There is a bullseye in Susky's back right now. I think everyone's expecting them right now, at least in the preseason, into the early season, to be the team to beat. And so far they've showed that, including a big win last week against a large school, Cumberland Valley. I believe that was 13-7. Yeah, that's a quality win for Susquehannock.
Playing that competition, we mentioned their non-conference schedule, and they're not scheduling cupcakes down at Susquehannock, are they, John?
No, Tom Main doesn't believe in that. He wants you to get tested early in the season. Win or lose, you'll be more prepared for the playoffs. Good ball movement here by Redline. They need to take care of each possession. They need to put some points on the board pretty soon.
Similar to basketball, value each possession.
Absolutely. Word for word, Todd. We say that a lot. I've yelled that many a time on the lacrosse scene. And unfortunately,
and a turnover. Yep.
They didn't listen to us. It's a good clear.
And now.
Looks like they have numbers. It's a slow break. They'll slow it down to set up the offense and get their subs in.
And what we're...
Yeah, Dude's talking about lacrosse being a chess match. I think like a lot of sports it is, Dude, definitely. There are advantages that you want to exploit. For instance, we talked a little bit during the last game about finding what's called that shorty matchup. In this case, you have two short sticks, a defender and an attackman, and that's the matchup you look for. That was a nice body check there. Let's see if Redline can get a successful clear here. Couple names to look for Redline will be Jack Gully and Landon Craley and Luke Miller.
Yeah, we mentioned in pregame all going to the next level, various colleges. Jack Gully, York College, Luke Miller, Hood College down in Frederick, Maryland.
Yeah, and then three others will be Paul Hornberger, Miles Snyder, and Connor Strebig. Those are the 6 guys that I know of that are going on to play at the next level. All right, so again, they're moving around. On the field. They got that shorty matchup we talked about. He runs through the pick.
Block on that shot.
Yeah, and again, that sun, you can see it just right in the face of that goalie, so good thing that shot was off if you're a Redline fan.
Behind the back there trying to get it in, but to no avail. But, yeah, the Suns, too, are right here in the broadcast booth, but you're right, the goalie and Redline, at least here in the first half.
All right, here's Tristan Coleman. Oh, boy.
Block.
Way to use your head? Absolutely.
Note.
You can, yeah. Keep playing on. All right, pole presses out on him. All right, again, he'll rotate it, get it to a short stick. Got that matchup they want. Good look by Coleman.
Off the mark there, John, slightly. But still taking shots on goal. You got to take the shots, right?
Was it Jordan? Somebody
Jordan
said
yeah. Yep. Use a little basketball analogy here during our lacrosse matchup. shoots, scores. That's Dom Eccles again. Dominic Eccles, his second already with 3:35 remaining here in the first quarter. It's 3-0 Susquehannock. Go ahead, John.
You saw him run through that pick, and the Red Line defense is going to have to communicate and be a little bit quicker, whether they're going to switch off or run over top or run behind that pick. They're just going to have to be a little bit quicker, or this game could get real long for Red Line.
Now,
obviously, a 3-0 advantage already for Susky.
We've seen a running clock in football and basketball. My question to you, John, is there a running clock here in lacrosse?
Holy smokes, you're testing my my rule. There is. Fortunately, when my son played, we were on the advantageous side of that a few times. But I believe if you were up by, and again, I have to relook at the rules, it's 11 or 12 goals by half.
Gotcha.
There will not be a running clock in the first half, but when you get to the second half, if you have a huge advantage like that, there will be a running clock. With the exception of maybe injuries and called timeouts. But other than that, they do try to expedite the game. Bit of a mercy rule, I guess.
And it's good to kind of get this information out here, maybe to some of the viewers that are tuned in. Maybe this is the first match or two that they've seen of lacrosse. And and it's gotten bigger here in York County, I would say, over the past several years. John, I mean, your insight on that in terms of the growth of lacrosse at this level in YAIAA.
Yeah, I mean, it's often been called the fastest game on 2 feet, but also it's arguably the fastest growing sport in the country. We're seeing a lot of good kids at the collegiate level from Texas and Florida and California. And much like you mentioned, Du, this game was pretty much born in the areas of, Baltimore and Long Island. It is a Native American game. Back in the day,
Jim Thorpe.
Yeah, I mean, Thorpe
day.
played, but even prior to that, they didn't even have field lines. I mean, basically, you played on an open field. There was no out of bounds, and you just kept playing. A lot of purists with lacrosse like to honor the game by making sure that people recognize it as a Native American game.
Absolutely, I appreciate that information.
Sure.
Love to hear stuff like that, actually.
Get a history lesson here with the sports tonight. Yes.
Good. Now that's a nice switch on defense. Force the ball rotation. Okay, not the best matchup. Long pole. There you see the long pole knocks him down. Yeah, they tend to be the defensive guys. 3 close defenders, and then you'll have one what's called LSM, long stick midi.
Yeah, and a scramble for the ball. Susky with it.
That's a good decision for him to take it behind X. Eyes up, looking for the cutter.
Oh, big hit there, John.
Yeah, the coach is bringing the body, right? You don't want to play dirty, but you certainly want to make the guy think every time he gets into that crease area. So it is coached. Generally, you can bring the body, if you will, or create.
Scores.
Great shot.
Tristan Coleman with his second goal, and right now, a 4-0 lead for Susky.
Generally, they don't want you to take more than 3 steps. So you have to be within a close range of motion, not taking a full head start. Safety is very important. All the helmets are NOC certified for concussion prevention. All the kids obviously wear mouthpieces as well. Yeah, good pair of gloves will probably run you, 150, 200. The cross or the stick, if you will, the cross on the head, probably anywhere from $250 to $300 with including the stringing and all that.
So fans that are tuned in thinking maybe their son or daughter would like to play, there's some insight here on the shoot. Blocked at the goal. And now Red Line trying to.
Yeah, and this is what's called a ride. The defense is trying to keep the ball in the defensive, what's currently defense now Susquehannock to prevent that ball getting across midfield, which they've been able to do, but they're going to need to get a touch. So he's going to have to go in that box, which he does get a foot in. And now they have possession, and they'll move the ball around looking to get their offense going. Yeah, you just heard Red Line call out a play. So they have probably some very specific plays that they believe can work against Susquehannock. And they certainly have the players to make it happen. Let's see what happens here.
39.6 seconds remaining.
All right, a little 2-man game behind the net here. Pick was set. Comes around. Eyes up. He's going to have to move it.
And loses the ball there. Under 20 seconds remaining
Yeah, we're on
here.
short time. Todd, that goes back to the possessions we talked about.
Yes, value each possession. Be Susky ball here with 8.9 seconds remaining. A nice crowd traveling for Susquehannock here. A lot of fans in sporting their red here and supporting the Warriors.
Short time. They cannot let a goal in here. Oh, boy, on the doorstep. Great
A
stop.
block. Great. And we've arrived at the end of the first quarter with your score, Susquehannock 4, Red Lion 0.
That was a huge save by that goalie. I mean, that guy was left unattended, and great save.
11-16 by number 5, Tristan Coleman. Goal 2 came at 7:33 by number 31, Dominic Eccles. Goal 3 came at 3:35, also by Dominic Eccles. And goal number 4 at 1 minute 39 seconds by number 5, Tristan Coleman.
Yeah, they're both
4-0 at the end.
Both Tristan Coleman, Dom Eccles sitting there with 2, possibly a hat trick here tonight.
I mean, these guys have been honestly scoring probably 5-6 goals a game, and a few assists. So it wouldn't surprise me. Red Line just needs to get a little bit of offense start here. They got to break the seal here and get a goal in this second quarter, and hopefully keep it close. Anything can happen, if they play them tight. I don't think Susquehannock's been put in the position where they've had a tight game, other than the Cumberland Valley game, which, based on what I read, they dominated most of the time with at least a 2 or 3 goal margin. So Red Lions got to keep it close here if they want a chance to win this by the end of the fourth quarter.
And our sponsors, would you like to mention our sponsors for tonight's broadcast?
Absolutely. Excuse me, Land and Sea Landscaping, one of our sponsors, Essential Salon and Spa, S3 Performance Training, and OSS, Orthopedic Urgent Care.
All sponsors for tonight's lacrosse matchup featuring Red Lion and Susquehannock.
And we're also lucky we have one of the owners of S3 Performance Training and John Turpek with us right now. So we'll talk a little bit about S3 Performance Training during halftime, give the fans and some of the student athletes or even the adults that are looking to get in shape, ways they can contact John and, get involved with S3 Performance Training.
Exactly. With this weather, you may be thinking shorts and tank top weather, and and S3 Performance can hook you up.
I was thinking shorts when I walked out of the house this morning. It was like 70 degrees, and here I am in 2 shirts and sweatpants.
We're ready for face-off. We're underway here to start the second quarter. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, very important face-off, and I don't know who the face-off guy is this year for Susquehannock, but the last couple of years they've had some fantastic guys, and we talked about that last game. What a huge advantage it is to really be able to win a possession, almost 75-80% of the time, and set up that offense.
Now, we'll see. The teams switched sides here, switched goals, so now Susky will be facing the sun as it sets here to the west of us here at Horn Field. We'll see how that affects them.
Yeah, but you can't turn the ball.
Well,
Red Line's going to have to get those shot opportunities. I think they're just rushing a little bit. They need to calm down. There's Coleman.
Shoot off the mark.
Yeah, I expect to see Reineke and Ostrike getting involved here a little bit more in the offense. Those are kind of their big 4 players. Heads up play by Eccles.
Yeah.
All right, this is where it starts. They need to get the clear here and set up the offense and possibly, like you said, take advantage of the sun in the goalie's eyes. He needs to swivel his head and turn to this side. Good backup by the Lions. They're in what's called an open set. You can see all 6 players are in a large circle. You'll probably start to see a couple cutters and see how the defense rotates. There he is.
Oh, and shoots, scores.
That's how it works.
First goal for Red Lion.
Taking advantage of that sun, too. Did you see that?
Yes. And we'll see how this affects Susquehannock.
Flying goal by Landon Crayley, assisted by Luke Miller.
Landon Crayley with the goal. Attending Washington College
Great
next
program
year.
down there, yeah. The Shoremen down in the Eastern Shore. Excellent education, excellent lacrosse program. An elite Division III program. Early start by Susky.
And Red Lion now on the move offensively here. We'll see if they can take advantage of it.
So you heard them called deuces, so it looks like they're probably going to get into what's called a 2-2-2. So you'll see 3 levels with 2 players at each level. They can run multiple offensive sets. We saw the open set on the last goal. Skip pass. He wants to pass one more time or go against the pole. All right, they got to switch. Hands free. He's got to shoot.
Shoot. And I see that bounce pass there that they try to bounce shot. Talk a little bit about that, John, in terms of going to the net.
I mean, whether you're on turf or grass, the bounce shot can be very unpredictable. It does create a little bit of havoc for the goalie. They have to be really able to track the ball. So it's really just another way to try to get the ball in the back of the net as opposed to just a straight shot. Depending on the angle, it can definitely catch the goalie off guard.
And you notice to start the second quarter here, a lot of the action again has been down now on Susky's side, Red Lion.
Oh, good shot. And again, for the folks that are watching, the newbies, when and where the ball goes out of bounds, whoever is closest, regardless of team. So that was a shot. So when and where the ball went out of bounds, in that case, Red Line was closest to the end line, so they retained possession. If it was a Susky player, then Susquehannock would get the possession.
Good insight, yeah.
There's another turnover. Red Line cannot afford to have turnovers against a quality team like Susquehannock. Here you have the pole coming across to the offensive side of the field, so one of the short stick middies stays back. He will retreat back to the midline, and then they'll enter a sub from the far side box.
Now, do they have to announce the subs, or do they just come in when they...
It's pretty much, Dude's asking if you have to announce the subs. Not really. I mean, those 2 cones you see in front of the scorer's table, that's the substitution box area. Players can just go into that area, and when the appropriate person comes off, then they can sub in. All right, so they're clearing out for a dodge from the top. It's good defense by Red Line.
Shoot.
Great save by the goalie. The goalie is protected while he is in the crease area. Now that he's out, okay, he can be played just like any other player.
Goalie Ethan Birkendine, a junior for Red Lion. Certainly he's getting his fair share of work down there in the goalie spot for Red Lion.
Indeed he is. Ethan's
Yeah.
been playing lacrosse since I think he's about 8 years old, so he's a quality player. Red Line's lucky to have him. Good. Spin it twice. You'll see a lot of times they'll do 2 passes. They're trying to get it to the opposite side of the defense. Another good, wow, another turnover by Susky, or by Red Line.
Yeah,
Takeaway
and
by
now
Susky.
Susky on the run now, and shoot.
That's a big save by
Blocked it.
Birkendine. You see the deep, oh, it could be a hit here. Nope.
Yeah.
That's a nice clear throw.
Under 6 minutes remaining here before halftime. Susquehannock 4, Red Lion 1.
Pretty much whip that ball pretty much the whole length of the field if you wanted to, right?
He can, yeah. And much like a football team uses a quarterback, the goalie, if they're good enough, is used for a lot of clears because there's 6 defenders, right? 6 offensive players, so you essentially have that extra guy that you can use for those clears. Quick feet by Coleman, takes it up top, finds his open guy.
Susquehannock being patient here.
You see how the good players always keep their eyes up. Bam, off the top post.
Off the top.
That was a good shot.
Calm down a little bit, yeah, defensively. Yeah, a lot of block shots there at goal. Ethan Birkendine.
They are doing, and much like nice save by Birkendine. Ooh, boy. I think that's goalie interference. Yeah, they're going to call goalie interference. He had the ball in his stick, and the opposing player hit his stick, and you have to give the goalie the ability to get rid of the ball. So they're going to try and use the short stick midi for the clear. Good, he found a guy coming out of the box. Things are looking good here. Let's get a good possession for the Lions. But like you talked about, there's ebbs and flows in lacrosse just like basketball, right? We saw the 2 championships games over the last couple of days. You know, the other team can be up a significant amount of points, but the game's not over.
Shoot, scores! Red Lion.
As you say that.
Yep.
And cuts into the Susquehannock's lead. 4-2 now, John, with 4:19.
Goal by Jack Gully.
Jack Gully, York College.
Excellent player, York College.
Yep. He'll be a Spartan in the fall.
Yeah, and boy, that team's doing well. York College men's lacrosse. We talked about Washington College earlier. York College is probably top 5, top 10 in Division III. And honestly, the top Division III programs are probably as good as the bottom, Division I or some of the middle to upper Division II programs. Good, another face-off wins for Susquehannock. Yeah, Dew asked about how important it is to get a score in this quarter. I guess I'd say every score is important, but like I talked about earlier, keeping the score close, giving the kids an opportunity and the confidence to come out in the second half and know they can win this on their home field. That being said, I don't know what the shooting percentage is for Susquehannock, but they've taken a ton of shots and missed a lot.
Yeah.
In the second half, they could come out and hit all of them, so it should be interesting. Again, they'll move it 2 and they'll dodge. It's good defense.
You can hear those sticks cracking out there, John, from time to time.
Sure can. You can see Coleman's the facilitator. They like to use him both behind the goal at X as well as up top. He's got quick feet, good vision, great lax IQ.
Shoot, scores. That's Ben Ostrike. You mentioned his name earlier. His first goal, the attacker.
Yeah, he's a big, strong guy.
He attacked on that one.
He sure did. Big, strong guy. Got over top of that defender. Defender had to move his feet one more time, and he didn't. Ostrike got his hands free, and 5-2 advantage right now for Susquehannock.
5-2, and Dew mentioned it well. Susquehannock on the board here in the second quarter with their first goal. 5-2 lead right now with 3:17 remaining before halftime. Halftime, we plan to talk to John Turpak a little bit about S3 performance and getting in shape for this spring-summer 2023.
Hot potato, another face-off win for Susquehannock, though. They've pretty much dominated the face-off circle.
Under 3 minutes remaining here.
Again, Coleman's a facilitator. Eyes up, looking for a cutter. Finds his guy hands free up top. Ooh.
Shot.
Yeah, Eccles
just
would
off the mark.
Yeah, he wants that one back. Again, they're clearing out. They have a short stick matchup with behind the goal. They're going to rely on Coleman's speed, vision, and lax IQ.
Shoot.
Birkendine, big
Birkendine
save.
with another save. That goal, yeah.
That would have been an opportunity there to use a bounce shot, Todd. Basically, he just shot that ball right into the middle of the goalie's chest. Not to take credit away from the goalie for standing there and taking it, but that's where you want to do what they call change levels. Oh, wow. Good luck.
Oh, shoots and scores. And number 5, Tristan Coleman, a hat trick with 1:59 to go here before halftime, John.
Turnover led to another goal. You got to keep possession of that ball. Red Lions got to relax on these clears. They got to get that ball over the midline.
And in basketball, Todd, we call that the Euro step for that goal. He showed the ball, took another step, and then winged it right in. Very nice move from Susky.
Let me back up Birkendine here. That's not his fault. When you're in that situation, again, I mentioned this in the previous game, the goalie's only as good as the 3 defenders in front of him, and unfortunately that turnover and that quick pass by Coleman.
Just too much there on that
Quick
play.
goal by Coleman, yeah. Looks like we got a timeout.
Timeout on the...
When we talk about S3, I don't know if you guys know this, but something that's very interesting is Redline, we do all of their sports. Like, we actually have a guy on site here. It's the only school that I know of that has hired any company, ours or anyone else's, that actually comes in. We do all the strength conditioning for Redline.
That's major,
Boys sports, girls sports. Ron Johnson was here from 3 to 5 today. We come in Monday through Thursday from 3 to 5 or 3 to 6.
Oh, yeah, we definitely got to mention
It's an interesting story because, in Texas, California, Florida, like all those schools have strength conditioning guys or women on staff.
Yeah.
But Red Lions, we've been doing it with us we're going on 4.5 years now. It's kind of interesting. Not
Yeah,
most
you
people
got
don't know that.
trailblazing, man. That's the thing. Like
No,
I
we
said.
try. We wish some other schools would have followed suit.
Yeah. Are you guys open to working with other schools, or are you just? Is that going to stretch it
It's
thin?
tough from a human resource standpoint. Yeah.
I got
like
you.
Susquehannock used to do it for us at Central, like Karan and all those guys worked out with him and my other guy Matt. Now they just do it directly from the school.
Gotcha.
Cutting out the middleman.
Yeah, for sure. That's what you got to do sometimes.
It's all right. Hopefully I'm not talking too loud on the mic.
You're good. There's a mute button on there. Anytime you want to.
I told you to. Nah, that's cool.
We're back, sports fans, coming off the timeout here, and you're watching Sports Shooting Stars. That was S3 Performance Training, an ad with John Turpak here and Ron Johnson as well, tied in here to the Red Lion School District, particularly with their training. And we were, during the commercial break, John, you talked about it, the only school in the area to have.
Yeah, to the best of my knowledge, we've been working with the Red Line for 4.5 years. They hired us. We're in there 4 days a week, 2 to 3 hours a day, working with all their boys and girls teams. I would call it very innovative, progressive, if you will. You see it a lot in California, Texas, Florida, but it's something that was kind of new and, like I said, kind of like forward thinking in terms of them bringing us in to run all their strength conditioning over the past 4.5 years. It was a good shot by Susky. Got about a little under a minute and a half here. Coleman with a nice skip pass, hands free. That was a good shot by number 14, and back up with Susky. So got a minute 18. Let's see if they can get a goal in this this possession here. It could be the last possession of the half.
Back in the X position, correct?
He is.
Shoots, scores, and again, number 5, Tristan Coleman with his 4th goal. And really starting to take over this game here, John, with his 4th goal tonight.
Yeah, he is too quick to not cover behind the goal. You could see there, actually, Birkendyne tried to step up, and that's not the goalie's responsibility. But the defender that's guarding Coleman has a tall task today, and you can see on I believe, the first or second goal of the game and this most recent one here, he's just too quick for them not to have a defender in his face, forcing him to make a move with the ball against a defender.
Now, in lacrosse, John, I'm asking, is there such thing as a double team? Can you double team a guy, or is that going to leave you?
That's a great question. Let's see what happens here in this shot. Yeah, so actually you'll see a lot of double teams. You'll see what's called a slide as somebody dodges and beats their guy. The closest defender, they have different slides, coma slides, other things they call them. The defender will rotate and set, in essence, even for a short amount of time, double team a guy. The other opportunity for a double team is when you have one team that's either man up or man down. Depending on who has possession, you may have more players and therefore can double team from that standpoint. So again, I think it's probably a lot like basketball. It's a lot about the rotation and the communication. Again, another turnover for Redline. They cannot afford to be turning the ball over. Timeout called.
Timeout. I'm going to give a special hello to Cade Burnett, who's here with Cade Visuals. He'll be snappy. He'll be getting some great film footage during the course of tonight's game.
Yeah, Cade does a great job of putting up the highlights and being at a lot of different events throughout the year. I remember Cade just doing a game or two, and then he just flourished and just went all out with all the coverage he's been doing and all the highlights. I often say some of his highlights are kind of like a mini movie because he puts a soundtrack behind it, and it kind of creates a story for the particular game. Big shout out to Cade Burdett of Cade Visuals, and also his dad. We'll give a shout out to his dad as well, Paul. Paul's always following Sports Shooting Stars. He's always showing us love and making sure Cade's involved as well. So it really has become more like a family affair with a lot of the fans and the parents and even the student athletes. We all look out for each other, and we really appreciate all the support.
Yeah, a lot of love for Cade Burdett and Paul and his younger brother Reed. To be honest with you, I think Cade got started doing this with football and lacrosse. He has family members that play lacrosse. He's friends with some of the guys that are currently coaches at Susquehannock but are former Central grads. So does a tremendous job. I know you guys love his work too, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he's putting together for this game.
We're back coming off the timeout here. Under 30 seconds remain here before halftime, and as you can see, Susquehannock on the attack.
Yeah,
they don't
called
let the
that
foot off the pedal here, do they, John?
No, they don't. They called the time.
Ooh,
yard
and a
sale.
stick goes flying.
Coleman's going to take it. He's not shy.
No, not at all. Shoots, scores, Coleman, the senior with his 5th goal, and he's making it look rather easy down there, John. Pumped up is an understatement.
Left. He switched hands right in the crease, went left hand, and went over the shoulder of Birkendyne. And to your point earlier, this is the first half. So Tom Main is not going to take his foot off the gas. He knows anything can happen in the second half. He calls a timeout with 27 seconds left, calls a play. Play got a little messed up, but they regained possession. And, Coleman's never seen a shot he didn't like. So that's why he's got 5 goals here.
Yeah, and at this rate, 5 for the first half. Could it be 5 for the second half here, John? At the pace he's going at, it's early on, no doubt.
No comment. I don't think the Redline fans want to hear the potential answer to that.
And off the mark there as time expires here, and we've arrived at halftime with your score. Susquehannock 8, Redline 2. And, John, I would pose this question to you. Your thoughts on the first half so far with what we've seen?
Well, I think you've seen a high-powered offense in Susquehannock. Redline's problem is they can't get the ball on the other side of the field. They're not getting the possessions. They're not getting the clears and transitions to give their offense a chance. Let's be honest. They haven't even given the Susquehannock defense a workout. And if they're not challenging the defense, not taking the shots, they're going to have a difficult time clawing their way back into this game. So it starts with the face-off. I understand Susquehannock has, probably the better face-off guy, but we've seen 5, 6, 7 turnovers, and Redline can't keep doing that if they want to claw their way back into the game.
Interesting points, and we're going to take a brief moment. Do you have any thoughts here before we head into the break here?
No, I believe it's a really good matchup between Susky and also Redline. So it's been a really good game here tonight. Beautiful night to film a game at the Hornfield. So very excited to be here. There's been a lot of scores so far in the game. Don't think Redline's out of it completely, but they do need to get back on the board. And as John said, play, be more aggressive on offense and limit the turnovers. Once you limit the turnovers, everything's going to be good. And we see our guy down there, Joe Sedora from Redline. Big time basketball player. We're going to have him on our broadcast. Oh, I'm sorry, on our podcast coming up soon. So
entitled "Wait a Minute."
Wait a Minute.
More information through our Facebook page, but that'll be forthcoming in the month of April, really right through June, and should be interesting. We have a whole host of guests lined up, and looking forward to getting underway with our podcast.
I'm looking forward to that podcast, guys. I don't know if I want to be on it, but I'm going to listen to it on the drive to and from work.
Well, just to commentate about the podcast. It's going to be very relaxed. We're going to have a good time. It's going to be like a bar stool type of podcast. We're going to have a lot of good times. Pretty relaxed atmosphere, interviewing different student athletes, different sports figures around the county, and beyond. So, we're going to do some edits in there as well. So it's going to be, a pretty nice podcast, and we're going to have a lot of fun with it.
And when's the debut edition? Can you maybe give a little teaser here, to our audience that tuned in tonight?
Absolutely. We're looking for our April 10th, which is Monday. We're looking for April 10th, and then we're going to go ahead and film it April 10th, and then by April 12th, which is Wednesday, it should be out for people to watch and download and things like that. Really looking forward to it. We wish the days would slow down a little bit so we can kind of catch up, but it should be out here in about a week, and it should be a really good time.
No doubt about it. I want to remind the fans we'll be back on. We're back, sports fans, as we are moments away from the face-off here to start the third quarter. Susquehannock has a 6-goal lead, 8-2 right now. And we are underway.
Another face-off win for Susky to start the half.
And again, Susky, John, on the offense here. Shoot, scores! Doug Reinecke with his first goal.
Yeah, on the assist from Eccles, too.
As you can hear the coaching staff and players down at Susky, this is how we do it. Well, they certainly are turning it up a notch. And it's not Montel Jordan, right? I mean, you can appreciate that. And John, back in the day.
Indeed.
Still a party favorite.
Oh, weddings, yeah. Oh, reunion, yeah. A song that tends to get them up off the chair and onto the dance floor.
I use that on Instagram every now and then with an S3 post.
There you go.
I'd sing it for you, but I don't want to scare your fans
Oh,
away.
yeah, we don't want to lose our audience here, John, tonight.
Again, another face-off win. Red Line's going to have to get into their bag of tricks, maybe use a long pole on the face-off to jam them up, but they just can't keep giving every possession to Susky.
Am I mistaken, or is Red Line having some extra guys around the goal kind of to protect?
Well, I think their defense is sagged in a little bit. Here goes Coleman.
Yeah, Tristan Coleman, who already has 5 goals, looking to add to his, no doubt.
You could be right, too. Visually, obviously, it's an observation, but at the end of the day, they got to press out and stop these guys from dodging. And Birkendine's a good goalie.
Shoots, scores.
He'll do the best he can, obviously. Yeah.
That looks like Daniel Kalazak with the goal.
I think what you will see in this second half is the class act that Coach Main is with Susquehannock. You're going to see him start to pepper in some of his second line players, possibly some JV kids to give him a little bit of experience. No holds barred in the first half, but if they go up big here in the second half, he'll get some other kids.
Well, they certainly have a deep roster, and Susky back at it again.
Again, that would have been an opportunity for a bounce shot, Todd, or at least a shot to change levels. All right, so they need to get it clear. This is extremely important. Need to communicate. They had the midi cutting across. Good, they get it over midfield. They just need to get a touch here.
Now Red Lion looking to push it up here offensively with just over 10 minutes to go here in the third quarter.
All right, so they're in deuces set up again in a 2-2-2. Turnover caused.
Turnover, and now Susquehannock. Bringing the ball up field and shoots, scores.
Fast break, he used that bounce shot
Doug
you talked
Reinecke,
about.
his second. Yeah, that bounce shot, his second goal, and right 11-2 lead for Susquehannock.
Warrior goal by Doug Reinecke.
I would say if you're a Red Line fan not to get discouraged, regardless of winning or losing this game. The boys need to compete. This is a good litmus test for them, and you're talking about the defending district champions. So Susquehannock is loaded. Could they be playing better? Absolutely, and I think the coach will bring that point out, at the end of the game and into the week's practice. But this is a really good team that could potentially compete for a state championship.
Well, they certainly are looking that way tonight here at Horn Field.
Yeah. I was given Todd a little history. Tom Main was the Central coach, left for certain reasons several years ago. So it's always a classy yet heated rivalry between Central and Susquehannock.
And they may want to, sports fans may want to circle their calendar for that matchup.
Absolutely.
Those two schools
Yeah.
play later this season.
They do. They need to find some offense. That would be a positive for him to do this with 11-2 margin. And again, another turnover.
Another turnover now, Susquehannock.
I believe we call that shooting yourself in the foot. And now they have numbers. They have a fast break. They're going to feed the point. He's going to take the shot. Ooh, off the bar. And right now, the red line defender is closest to the. Yep, they're going to give it to red line. Okay, he should have been a little more aware of the fact that he had a Susky guy coming up on his shoulder, but he did get the call. So red line possession. All right, now they got their guys on. They're going to start running the offense, Todd. I'm sorry I interrupted you. What were you going to say?
No, go ahead. Yeah, I mean, you're just trying to see red line whether they can set up here offensively.
That's it wasn't called a trip. That's okay. Gets back up with possession. Space and pace. They need to dodge and not roll into that double team or that slide. This is a good opportunity. There's the slide. Man should be open. Move it twice and dodge. Here we go. It's a good save.
And a save there, yes.
It's a quality possession for Redline. They're going to need a bunch more of those. Here goes Reineke. Nice trail check by Redline. Birkendine picks it up, hits the midi, streaking across. Again, subs are occurring. For those of you who don't know lacrosse, the defensive middies run off, offensive middies come on. Hey, I'd like to point out there have not been a lot of penalties. I don't know any. I mean, you've got a bad memory, but I haven't seen any penalties yet. And this just goes to show the quality coaching and how these kids honor the game. Tom Main with Susquehannock and Brooks Arnold of Redline. Knock on wood, no penalties that I recall so far, but that's about the cleanest lacrosse game I've seen.
Yeah, compared to our last broadcast at York Catholic, there were a lot of penalties there with York Catholic and Eastern.
Indeed.
But, yes, clean game tonight. Just under 6.5 minutes to go here in the third quarter.
Yeah, Susky with the turnover, so Redline's got to take advantage of this. I mean, they need to get a goal on the board here. We're already, like you said, 6.5 through the third.
A shoot, scores. That's Luke Miller.
Great job by Miller.
He'll be heading to Hood College.
Nice program. Couple of York kids at Hood College. Robbie Wiley from Central York. I forgot the gentleman's name from West York. But, yeah, they've got some talent there, and Brad Barber's the head coach at Hood College in Frederick. Good things going on there.
Used to be all women's college back in the day.
It did.
Yes.
My aunt went to school there.
My wife's cousin.
Hey, you're lucky if you were the first male class at that school.
No, no doubt about it. As we're set for the face-off here, Susquehannock 11, Red Lion 3.
There you go. There's a face-off win. Pick up by the deep hole. They need to get it over mid. Oh, boy. I think that was last touch by Susquehannock. All right, Birkendine needs to walk it up. Okay, middies need to be active here. Nobody's open. There's a good look. Great job by Redline on that clear. Again, same thing. Okay, they need to move that ball around. They're setting up what I think they call it recon. Looks like it's a 2-2-2. Good. Move the ball. Here's the dodge.
Luke Miller now with the ball for Red Lion.
Good shot. Good save. I think that's Miles Sanders. Big, strong kid.
Yeah, you can see that
Or
from our
Miles
vantage
Snyder,
point.
excuse me.
Snyder, yeah.
Miles
from our-
Sanders, though, it would be tough to stop.
He'll be attending Lebanon Valley College.
Oh, look at that. There's a flag down on the field. I'm sorry I jinxed
Well,
somebody. I'm not sure why they stopped play.
had to happen sooner or later, John, and 4:53 to go. I want to thank fans for tuning in tonight to Sports Shooting Stars. Like our Facebook page and Instagram, and also like S3 Performance Training, their Facebook page as well. Follow them on social media. As we mentioned earlier, with this warm weather, you're thinking about maybe getting into shape. Well, S3 Performance Training, they can provide the services. And John Turpak, one half of that team, really, along with Ron Johnson, that make it happen.
Yeah. Thanks, Todd. Hey, so this is our first man advantage, right? Man up or EMO, extra man offense. Red Line needs to cash in here, so let's see what kind of a man up play they have. Generally, they're going to move the ball around, try to lull the defense to sleep, get them to press out. Maybe you'll see a cutter or what they call a wheel from behind the net, circling back around. So everyone's going to get a touch on this first possession, and then now you see the guy wheeling behind X.
John, would you say that Red Line's playing a timid game or an aggressive game or just kind of being passive? What do they need to do to kind of get back into this game?
As far as the first question, it's hard to say. I don't think these guys were intimidated by playing Susquehannock. I don't think they're scared. A lot of them play club ball together. I think Susquehannock is just clearly at this point obviously been the better team, winning more possessions in faceoffs. And to get back in the game, first thing they need to do here is score on this extra man op. And that goes back to the turnovers we talked about.
And that's
so
tough. And that's been pretty much the tale of the game thus far.
Yeah.
Valuing each possession and a turnover there by Red Line. Now Susquehannock.
Good defense.
Yeah.
So he dropped his stick and he kept playing, so they were calling playing without the stick. Red Line has the ball. Players are subbing on. Here goes Snyder.
Shoot and score.
Great goal.
Yes. By Red Line now. 11-4. Jack Gawley, his second.
I think Jack's a natural lefty, so that was an easy shot for him. That's why you see him playing on this side in terms of offense. Again, excellent player. He'll be attending York College.
3:57 remaining here in the third quarter. Susquehannock 11, Red Line now 4. Chipping away here at the lead of Susquehannock Red Line.
Easy clamp and pop. Oh, boy. Missed the pickup.
Yeah, you
Red
don't
Line
see that
possession.
too often from Susquehannock.
You don't.
But
now this guy needs to run around and not let that defender press out on him. He's got to kill some time so they can get the offensive subs onto the field. He did a good job of that. Good job by goalie. You hear things like AJ and Coma being screamed out by the defense. That's calling where and how they want the slide to come. AJ adjacent, Coma come across. Different defensive plays to give the offense a different look. Thought he could have taken a shot there.
Red Lion working the ball around here. Rather patient, John, here, waiting for that ideal shot.
Yeah, plenty of time. But they got to keep chipping away. And again,
they're.
I think every time I talk on bad luck, there's another turnover. So, yeah, they got to value the possession. They got to honor that ball. And that's killing them right now. Game would be much, much closer. Easy clear by Susky. Nice defense by Red Line. All right, here goes Coleman. He's going to work. So there was that little bit of a double team, and you see the guy break back off and reset, or what they call recover.
There's Tristan Coleman. I mean, he's looking for more.
Yeah, look at that strong cradle. Eyes up.
Shoot, score.
Wow. That's a tough angle.
Yes. I believe that was Ben Ostrike with his second goal as well, an attacker for
Warrior goal by Ben Ostrike.
Well, I tell you, right now, yeah, there's Dom Eccles with 2, Ben Ostrike with 2, Doug Reinecke 2 points, Daniel Kalisak with 1, and of course Tristan Coleman with 5 goals.
Yeah, those
all
are
adds up for 12 goals for Susquehannock. 12-4 lead with just over a minute and a half to go here in the third quarter. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, they have 4 really strong players, Coleman and Eccles, and then Reinecke and Ostrike. Obviously, they have a great face-off guy they've been dominating, and the goalie's playing lights out so far, although he hasn't had a ton of shots against him. There you see that double.
Yes.
And then he recovers and goes back to the center. I see a skip pass. Nope, he's going to reset. It's Coleman. He's the creator. He's also a great scorer, obviously, but they run the offense through him a lot.
Shoot, scores.
They do comment. They got to know it's coming, and he's right. But as you know, sometimes it's hard to stop. It's hard to stop LeBron and Jordan and those guys on the basketball court, and same thing here. You've also got some guys that are sharpshooters, and the goal's 6x6. So Ethan Burke and I can only cover so much of it. But to your point, they know it's coming and just got to stop it.
Yeah, Ben Ostrike now with 3 goals.
Yeah, he's been on fire so far in this game. Just asking, John, how fast is that ball moving normally when a guy shoots for the goal?
That's a good question. I mean, on a step-down shot where you don't have a defender, in your face, kids at this age are probably going to hit between 80 and 90 miles an hour. At the college and professional level, I think the fastest shot or world record is around 112 miles an hour. Man, so, yeah, you're talking about more than a major league pitch and a shorter distance. Mm. I think the only sport I know of where they hit the ball a little bit harder might be tennis. I've seen some 135 mile an hour serves, but that ball's a little softer than a lacrosse ball.
Mm. And 20 seconds remaining here.
Here goes Coleman initiating.
Coleman's thinking about, another shot to the net.
Pick that guy up coming across.
Shoot, scores.
And that was an amazing score. You just saw that, John. What was Coleman doing with his stick there? He felt like he kind of twirled it around a little bit.
Yeah,
give me some feedback on that.
So that's just called a basic cradle. The boy's stick or the men's stick is allowed to have a little bit of a pocket in it in order to control the ball, especially when you're getting challenged by the defense. You have to be a good cradler. In that case, he was just killing time and waiting for that cutter, the guy who circled around the backside, to come around that far post. And he found him. And these guys have been playing together for a while, probably in the summer club and as well as high school.
It was Owen McFadden with his first goal in tonight's game, and shoots, scores. I can't believe it, John, to end the third quarter. It's raining goals for Susquehannock here tonight.
I was waiting for a buzzer to sound. I don't know, and with this kind of a margin, it probably doesn't matter, but I wasn't sure he got it off in time, but, it's on the scoreboard, so we'll count it, and there's very difficult lead right now, up by 11 goals.
And John, you made a bold statement in the second quarter. You said Susky looks like a team. We already know they won districts last year, and they went to states. But you said this looks like a team that can go to states and win it as well. So, this watching them put up 15 goals in 3 quarters, that says a lot about Susky. And why do you have so much confidence in Susquehannock?
Well, I think you got to look at the whole picture. It's not just about having, the star players. What's the chemistry like? Do the kids genuinely like each other? Do they love each other? Are they going to go to fight for each other? But the other thing that I look at is the coaching staff. Do you have the right leadership? And I think that a lot of times can be the difference, When you get to that district or state level, everybody's good. Obviously, what are going to be the things that are going to differentiate you in a 2-3 goal advantage, or when the score's tied or you're going into overtime, which is usually sudden death. What kind of confidence are you going to be able to give your boys to go out there and score that goal first, so they don't lose that match? And I have a lot of faith in the leadership at Susquehannock. I know the boys are excellent players. Obviously, they showcased that today. I think the chemistry's there. I think these guys genuinely love each other. I think they go to war with each other. Their nickname is the Glen Rock Boys. And, if there's a year that Susquehannock's going to have that opportunity, I think this is the year. In previous years it's been, Central. In previous years it's been York Catholic. I think this is the year for Susquehannock. So I want the Red Line fans who are watching this game to know to not get discouraged by this game. You're playing against a team that could contend for a state championship.
Absolutely. They're a juggernaut in the YAIA right now, and they're putting on a great display of how well they can play together. And what you said, all the elements as far as the coaching staff, the kids that they like each other, they play well together. I mean, I think all that combines for a great team. And right now, Sussie's put on a great performance at Hornsfield.
Then everything is advertised here as far as Susquehannock, the Warriors tonight, being one of the top teams, not just in YAIAA, but maybe across the Commonwealth here.
I think the teams that are going to challenge them, to finish up on that point, is going to be a team that has an excellent face-off guy. Can they win, a game if they can only win 50% of the face-offs as opposed to winning 75, 80%? I don't know if there's a team in York County that's going to challenge them.
Shoot, scores.
Do the one that you mentioned earlier. Central probably has the best individual face-off guy in the county, and that's why I think that game is going to be hotly contested, besides, all the links and commonalities between the guys. Brian McGarvey over at Central is a Division I recruit for face-off, and I know in the past years when my son played for Central, it really came down to those possessions in face-off, and that's going to be the difference this year and eventually into the district and state playoffs for Susky.
That was Landon Crayley with his second goal tonight for Red Line.
Great shot by Crayley.
And also, speaking about your son, Jake Turpak, how's he doing down there in Florida Tech? And why did he decide, for fans that wasn't watching the last lacrosse game, why did he decide to go to Florida Tech?
He decided to go to Florida Tech because of the great relationship he had with, at that time was the coach, was Mark Penn. Mark coached him in his Baltimore club team that my son played for. Obviously, he loves the weather. It is a high academic school. And it really gave him an opportunity to go into a program where he knew he could play right away, as opposed to going to a D1 program and maybe sitting for a couple of years. We see that happen a lot at all levels. Kids will transfer and everything. He wanted to go somewhere where he could contribute right away, enjoy the weather, enjoy the experience, and most importantly, get a great education. I know he enjoys watching your games. He gives me a little feedback on my commentary the next day usually and tells me to quit saying certain things. But I'm reminding him I'm still his dad, and I'm still paying his bills, so I'm going to hear about that one tomorrow.
He has to listen from time to time.
Occasionally.
And they play against some top-ranked schools as well. I saw you post not too long ago. They play against a number 2 school in their conference. Can you give me some feedback on that as well?
Yeah, they actually just won an overtime game against Lynn University on Saturday, but tomorrow they have a daunting task ahead of them. They play defending national champion Tampa at Tampa. That game will be on the SSC network or the Sunshine State Conference network at, I believe, 8 p.m. tomorrow. Last year they played them 3 times. The first time they lost in overtime by a goal. Second time they lost by a larger margin, 5 or 6 goals. And then in the SSC playoffs they lost to Tampa again by 5 or 6 goals. And they went on to win the national championship for Division II by a convincing margin. So they'll see what they're made of tomorrow when they get to play Tampa.
Is there any way we can watch that game? Would that be a link or attached to your page? Or how can we watch that game?
Yeah, if you go to Tampa's, good shot. Coleman, I believe.
Yes. Tristan Coleman with his 6th goal.
You can tell by the flowing mane that he has, the lacrosse mullet or the mane, if you will. But do asked about being able to see a good, high-quality Division II game. Florida Tech at Tampa tomorrow, 8 p.m. If you go to Tampa's website or to Florida Tech's website, there'll be a watch live link. The Sunshine State Conference, SSC Conference, has an app that you can put on your Roku TV, or you can watch on your phone or computer. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything like a lot of the other services. So you could see a high-quality Division II lacrosse matchup. And I wanted to mention, too, you asked about my son playing there. There are 3 other kids from York that play at Florida Tech. Chandler Haig from York Catholic. From Red Line, Ben Hornberger, his brother Paul's on this team. And then also Connor Young, who ended up, was a Central kid, but ended up attending Calvert Hall in Baltimore. All right, so we got a possession here. Well, and a turnover, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Good hustle by Susquehannock.
Oh, some impact there, John. You heard it from up here in the broadcast booth as a flag was thrown.
Yeah, I think the red line player is a little discouraged. Obviously, the team is being down by so many.
Yeah, by 11 right now with 10:07 to go here in the fourth and final quarter.
That's an example, if we had replay, you'd probably see about 4 or 5 steps on the, before that hit. And like I said, it's got to be 3 or less. So he laid the wood on that one.
Roger that. And the referees are right on top of that and called an appropriate play with a flag.
Yeah, let's see what they call. It's probably a cross check. We're looking for maybe a minute here.
And, John, with your strength conditioning, what are some of the injuries that are consistent with a lacrosse player?
Well, because of the impact of the game, you do see a handful of upper body injuries, collarbones, that type of thing. But other than that, it's the traditional, just from all the running that goes on, ankles, knees, hips. Some of these boys, low back injuries. A lot of kids lift on their own, too. They might not be using the proper form. So you'll see the full complement of injuries. Hopefully it's nothing serious that sends them to the hospital.
Yeah, and we'll talk about how important it is to warm up. I think sometimes that's oftentimes overlooked in sports. Oh, shoots and scores.
I think that was Eccles. Was that 31?
Yes, 31, Dom Eccles. Hat trick for Dom Eccles here. 17-5 right now.
So, Todd, about the warm-up, first of all, dynamic warm-up prior to competition is superior to a static stretching. But, we have kids at S3 and quite frankly, kids that I've coached over the years in football and lacrosse that don't value it. But what I always tell them is from the kids that come back to work out with us during their college break, these kids are doing, 15, 20, sometimes 30 minutes of pre-workout or pre-practice prep work. So the kids that, stumble their way through their 3-minute warm-up thinking it's a waste of time are going to have rude awakening. Now, maybe they won't get injured, but by the time they get to college, they're going to have a strength and conditioning guy, screaming in their face if they're not doing the proper warm-up. So it is extremely important.
For lacrosse players or just players in general, what are some good exercises you can do right at home? Before a game, we had to do a lot of running and you had to use all your extremities.
Yeah, honestly, like some yoga type moves, just getting the whole body, warmed up. We do one where we call it upper body flow. It's like a Superman sweep with a dead stop push up and a down dog. I know it sounds like a mouthful, but it's easy to teach. I would definitely, I think skipping rope would be great. I think that's kind of a lost art that was popular back when, at least when I was a boy. Great plyometric activity gets the whole lower body extremities warmed up. And then, of course, a little bit of running and moving. Most knee injuries occur during, landing, cutting, or decelerating. So, having these guys, build up into a full sprint and then have a full stop, again, linearly, laterally, all that kind of stuff. But those are things, again, that hopefully prior to the game, their coaches is checking off those boxes with the appropriate dynamic warm-up.
And that's one of those, and that's a part of your program that you bring to Redline High School when you come over and do your teaching and your training. That's something you guys are pretty much focused on with S3 Performance Training.
Yeah, we do have the kids warm up prior to working out with us in the weight room, and then we also are available to work with any of the coaches, whether it be football, track, cheerleading, softball, whatever, to help them create the appropriate warm up. Obviously different sports might need different focuses, but you're right. That's our job, is really to facilitate and support all these types of things for all the teams, boys and girls.
And for the adults that's tuning in tonight, how would someone be a certified trainer with S3 Performance Training? What are some of the things that you look for when somebody wants to come over and and work for S3 Performance Training?
Yeah, that's a good question. Getting a personal training certification is definitely important. We like to have a lot of our staff members that actually have a college degree in exercise science or kinesiology. It's a little bit more in depth, having 4 years of a college degree in a specific discipline as opposed to a 90-day test that anyone can take. But there is value in that. I think at the end of the day, it all comes down to experience. Getting those reps, getting in with an organization that, like Ron and myself, combined have over 40 years of experience in the industry. So, we're able to share best practices with a lot of our staff members. And we do, over the past, few years, we've had interns from Red Lion and other high schools, but more importantly also the kids in college, whether it be York College, Lebanon Valley College, we have interns from both those programs over the years.
And you can get more information on S3 Performance Training through their Facebook page or their website.
Yes, thank you, Todd. I think we're starting to see some different numbers on the field, and as I mentioned, Tom Main and his staff and his team, quite frankly, are a class act. So they're going to get some minutes here in the last 8 minutes of the game for some of their second teamers or even some of their JV guys.
And that's also good to preserve some of your varsity players for the next matchup they have, and not to get anybody unnecessarily injured.
That's a great point. Unless you're going for a record or something of that nature, you don't want to have your starters in the whole time because there's some really quirky stuff that can happen, right? I mean, you can roll your ankle walking in the parking lot, so you certainly don't want, especially a team that might be frustrated right now, you don't want Redline, doing something that could potentially injure one of your players. And I'm not to say that Redline would, but anything could happen. So this is a good possession. They're moving the rock around here at Redline. Again, regardless of the score, as far as I'm concerned, if I'm Coach Arnold, the score's 0-0. We just want to do our thing, put some points on the board, and not have turnovers.
And right now, Redline with the ball offensively, trying to find their shot. Off the mark there with 7 minutes.
Yeah, that was a good take there.
Yeah, the sun is starting to set here, John, at Horn Field. Get a little chilly, too, now, as it sets in. You guys came prepared. I came more like a day at the beach here, with shorts. And
I'm going to have to put that jacket on and that complimentary hat that I got, Todd.
Some sticks were flying down there behind the net as Susquehannock now with the
fast
possession.
Break feeds, turnover.
You see this baseball field in front of us, opening day, of course, started last week. You wonder how many home run shots are hit up here. That would be straight away center field, about where we're at here, midfield of 50. That would take a shot. How about it? I'm sure back in the day, maybe Butch Weininger could have done that. Or
I think I could hit a tennis ball up here.
Yeah,
something
tennis
that pops
ball
off the bat. Yeah, speaking of which, Redline's got a great baseball program, and they've got 2 games coming up.
Scores!
Shot. I think they have a game this Friday or next Friday against Dallastown. That's their rival. I don't know if that's home or away, and then, of course, they'll have the opposite.
Well, we're going to be filming a Dallastown Redline
Are you?
over at Dallastown in the month of May.
Yeah,
McFadden with his second. Yeah, Connor Bartow, who will be attending Shippensburg University, is a fine pitcher for Dallastown. We will have that game part of our spring package where, we have lacrosse. We're going to have a softball game, 2 baseball games, and who knows?
Do you know what
they're track?
What softball game you guys doing?
Central and Dallastown.
Okay.
Yes. You can get all that information, sports fans, on our Facebook page.
How am I going to work if you guys are doing all these games where I got my S3 athletes I got to come watch? You guys are killing me. All right, so the future of Susquehannock, as they start to put in these subs, we're going to see a lot of these younger guys, possibly freshmen, sophomore, maybe some juniors. So let's see how these guys respond.
Get some valuable playing time here with just over 4.5 minutes remaining. Shoots, scores! And that Daniel Kalisak with his second goal. A junior for Susquehannock.
John, how important is it to have footwork in lacrosse? 'Cause I see some footwork out there, some side steps, some hesitation, misdirections. How important is it to have footwork to be a lacrosse player?
That's a great question. I think that last play was very indicative of good footwork and maybe some bad. It's instrumental, as it is with any sport, and that's one of the things we do, obviously, speed, agility, in addition to the strength conditioning that we normally do. So footwork's very important. Clearly right now, Susquehannock, seems to be a little faster, again, not only in straight line speed, but, laterally as well. And again, I think that's why they have a 14-goal advantage here.
19-5 right now. Susquehannock with just over 3.5 minutes remaining here in the 4th and final quarter of regulation.
And John, just speaking about seeing a lot of your kids out here playing that, play football, basketball, lacrosse, baseball, softball. Let's talk a little bit about your collegiate wall at S3 Performance Training with over 130 student athletes that are all going to college on your wall at S3.
Yeah, we don't talk about a lot. We don't brag about it. It's not on our social media every day. But it is something that we're really proud of, to have been able to work with, 130 kids on site at our facility. There's actually many more. I mentioned to you earlier that we do the strength conditioning at Redline. A lot of those kids work out with us strictly at Redline. There have been a ton of players that have gone to play college. In fact, a lot of the names we mentioned in the lacrosse team, you have 6 guys that are going to be playing college lacrosse that are in the senior group, and they pretty much just work out with us exclusively at the school. So they're technically not even on our wall. But not to get off on a tangent, we're really proud of it. In the latest signing period we've got, I think, 12 or 13 kids that we'll be adding to that wall. Again, those are kids that are in our space at S3. So, it is a testament to, most importantly, the kids' hard work, their parents' investment and understanding in terms of what you're supposed to be getting out of a strength conditioning program, and then just the hard work of our coaches over the last 8.5 years.
Absolutely. I saw the wall myself, man. It's quite impressive. It's a who's who pretty much of York County.
You've seen any of the names? I mean,
Oh, well, of course, you got to start off with Bo. You have Judah Tome on there as well. So many different players from there, from around the whole county pretty much. So like I said, there's so many. But if anybody has the opportunity to go to S3 for performance training, go ahead and check out that wall. There's a who's who of pretty much a YAIA County players.
It's a cornucopia of colors
Yes.
and names and sports. I mean, from swimming to football and basketball and baseball, obviously. Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned Bardo earlier. He's on that wall, for example. And he's a senior this year, Dallestown, heading to Shippensburg. And a former Dallestown kid, Nick Parker, who's one of my partner Ron Johnson's original athletes, who's now doing his 5th-year grad baseball. He's playing at UVA, University of Virginia. 4 years prior to that, he was at Coastal Carolina, which is a Division I powerhouse.
Yes.
You mentioned Bo Pibula, Cole Johnson, the UCLA volleyball player. There's like I said, there's just a crazy amount of kids, and we're proud of that.
What about Redline's former player Randy Pfizer?
Yeah, Pfizer did a lot of work with us here at the school, and I think he did some stuff outside with Ron as well. He recently entered the transfer portal. I think he found a home, although I'm not exactly sure where he's going. But that kid's lightning fast. He was on that state championship 4x100 team a few years ago.
we're under a minute here at Horn Field. It's been all Susquehannock, 19-5.
Good take by Redline.
Another Redline former player, Devontae Dennis. I know you did a lot of workouts with him as well. He's doing great down in Houston.
Yeah, Devontae's awesome. I love watching his stuff. You mentioned Joe Sador earlier. Joe's been in with us not only at S3 but here at the school. Devontae's younger brother, Dakari or DJ, if you will, he still comes in 2 days a week with us. Yeah, Devontae's been great. I remember coaching him in football when he was about 8 years old. He wasn't quite 6'6", 230 then, but just a good kid.
Redline with the possession here and may have the final possession here.
Yeah,
as we wind down our
a goal here would be outstanding for them. Great shot.
Shoot, scores.
Was that 4? Was that Luke Miller? Great job.
Yes, and we've arrived at the end of the game here with your score. Susquehannock 19, Redline 6. Hornberger with the final goal, his first goal for Redline.
Thank you for your attendance here today, folks. Please be sure to take all your belongings with you as you leave, and please dispose of any and all trash in.
Well, do I tell you what, we've arrived, as I mentioned, at the end of the game, and your thoughts on possibly a player of the game? I have a thought when I look at this roster of Susquehannock.
Yeah. There's a group of guys you can just go off of. I mean, it was a well-orchestrated performance from Susquehannock tonight. Coleman definitely was, at the top of my list.
Yeah, Tristan Coleman with 6 goals. Just a phenomenal performance
on
tonight.
Fire.
Yeah, on fire for Susky. And we're going to make our way. We're going to make our way down to the playing field. John Turpak meeting some of his fans here in the stands in between the broadcast here. And
Couldn't move fast enough. Too many steps.
Want the fans to go ahead and go to the live chat and let us know who you believe the player of the game should be. We have our own ideas up here that we're going to go ahead and come up with. But we're also looking to engage with the fans on the live chat. Let us know who you believe the player of the game should be. We're going to do a live interview.
At Thornton Automotive's 6 locations in Manchester, Dover,
We're back. John Turpak on the field here at Horn Field. Todd Edwards, and we're here with some special guests. John, I'll let you introduce.
Yeah, we're here with Susquehannock head coach Tom Main and the player of the game, Tristan Coleman. The stats again for that?
6 goals, unofficially. I mean, your thoughts, Tristan, on your performance tonight?
It was a great team effort. The offense moved great. It allowed me to, come around and score. Everyone in the right spots allows that to happen.
No doubt about it. Coach, your thoughts on tonight's win?
Honestly, we started really poorly for us, if you want my truth. And I told them that, and I'm probably the only coach that thinks that way, but I know what the team is capable of. I've seen them play. I've seen them practice, and we showed up a little flat, a little selfish. We weren't moving. We weren't really sticking within our offensive sets, and honestly, this is why Tristan deserves player of the game, because he kind of put the team on his back to get us going and to take some goals really on his own early on. And then the team started waking up in the second half. We started to play better. Still not as well as we have, but I kind of expected that coming from Cumberland Valley to hear is that was a big, tough game, and we were very emotional. That was a physical game, and we had another physical team coming in, but I don't think we were quite mentally prepared for it when we showed up. So we'll talk about it in practice, but we can do better.
There you go. John, any questions on
Yeah, I mean, I know Tom really well for many years for lacrosse. I've been following Tristan. He was a little bit of a younger player. My son was at Central. I want just to hand the mic to Tristan and talk a little bit about like the brotherhood, the relationship, and the things that he believes will help this team succeed at not only the district at the state level this season.
Hold it.
Go ahead, yeah.
This team's awesome. We've all been playing together for so long. The team chemistry is awesome. Even the bus rides here and back, we're just one big family. Anything that ever happens, it's a family. Everyone talks about it. We get everything nipped in the bud quick. We really don't have any problems because we're always watching for each other. Us seniors and us captains are like the big brothers of the team. We're watching, making sure everyone's in the right spot and keeping their head up.
I commend you on that, and I want you to know that I think with the coaching leadership you guys have and the chemistry you guys have as players and the 4 stars that you have as well as the supporting cast, the whole team itself, we're looking forward here at York County to see you guys go as far as possible at the district and state level this year. And hopefully you'll repeat as district champs and have that opportunity to play for a state championship in a couple months.
And, John, you have a special gift that was given to me pregame, and maybe you want to show it, rock it there a little bit. Yeah, Susquehannock.
Yeah, as I
Little
mentioned, I've known Coach Main for a while, and his assistant coaches Mason Markey and Chris Markey. Shout out to the T. I am still a taxpayer at Central, but I will be donning the Susquehannock Warrior hat for the remainder of the evening.
19 goals tonight over Redline, 19-6. Player of the game, Tristan Cole. I think my partner there has something special for you as a player of the game, a T-shirt.
Congratulations.
You earned it tonight. Yep. We're live on TV. Would you like to say anything to maybe any of the fans that are watching, Tristan?
Thank you for watching. That's basically it. That's all I got.
And, Coach, anything you'd like to say to the audience watching tonight?
Well, Tristan nailed it. The team is a family. They're a great group of kids. I've had a lot of special kids I've coached, and this one is, I hate to say, my favorite team, and I don't want to say that to all my former players, but this is a special, special group of kids.
It's awesome. Coach, best of luck the rest of the way. A big win tonight.
Absolutely. Congratulations.
Let's get a picture here with a winning crew here.
Oh, my God.
Much deserved.
Susky hat on. Jeez.
Thanks, guys.
I follow you guys.
Good, man.
Hey, congrats.
Good job, Tristan.
It's your guys' year, man. Take care of business.
Yeah, no doubt, Coach. Impressive.
We got to do it right.
Yeah. One game at a time.
Is that right in the hair?
I met the YAIA.
Yeah, I got you. That's my power.
Yep, thanks, man.
And that's going to be pretty much a wrap-up of here at
Our second
Redline.
game, a second lacrosse game. We're going to have a third game. A week from Thursday, we'll be over at York Catholic back with the AD there, Brad Hayak, as the girls lacrosse team will play Southwestern. And it should be great. We got, the podcast coming up next week, next Monday. Of course, for those that celebrate this coming weekend, Easter weekend. So we want to wish our fans that, follow Christianity.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Happy Easter.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good time. Our next broadcast is in about 10 days, so it should be another good game. But tonight was all about Susky. They did a great job. Put them 19 points on the board.
Goals.
Coming here at Hornfield, which is a great field to play on. They did a great job. It was a privilege to watch them play.
Yes.
As we said again, Susky was district champions last year, went to the states as well, and have a really good chance of repeating as district and county champions. Well, district champions, and also going back to states.
As well. And after tonight's performance, who could argue with their performance tonight?
Oh, man, it was on fire.
A big win tonight. Congratulations as they move to 6-0 with a big win over Redline. And we'll be back at it again next week. How about it?
Yeah.
With a podcast and another broadcast.
Yeah, and for fans that's tuning in, please like Sports Shooting Stars on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're trying to continue to follow more games, get more followers as well. Do things with the student athletes, and, we're here to stay. We film live high school athletics, and, whatever's going on as far as a sports event, we definitely want to be there to help you guys out and give you guys some more exposure. Thank you for everybody that tuned in tonight, and we're going to go ahead and wrap up. And
have a good night for Todd Edwards.
See you guys later.
Have a good night.